Eric Holder recently wrote a letter to 9 former chiefs of the Drug Enforcement Administration, and he told them that even if Proposition 19 in California passes, he plans on vigorously enforcing federal laws that are against marijuana. So basically, he wants to make sure that those using marijuana for recreational uses should be prosecuted.
Okay, and if you're not familiar with Prop 19 in California, small amounts of marijuana would not be illegal anymore in the state. So not just medicinal, but any kind of marijuana. Of course, there's no distinction. It's just you don't need a prescription is what the point of Prop 19 is.
Right.
And there's both sides on this. But first, I think, Ben,
well, Steve Lopez writes that he's been a supporter of it, of legalizing. But he says, I've wavered a bit as Election Day approaches, swayed by arguments that commercializing pot would violate federal law and invite litigation. That's obvious that that's going to happen. It would also lead to patchwork policies at the local level. It would lower the price of weed dramatically, therefore create more widespread use. And
that's not true. That's what he thinks, but I don't think that's true at all.
Oh,
all evidence indicates that that's not the case.
What evidence is that?
Everywhere that it's legal, including Netherlands, there's less usage, not more usage.
I don't know. You lower the price. It might. Look, I think it's worth asking that question. That seems obvious to me that it might. And it might lure illicit out-of-state dealers into the California market.
I think it would drive away illicit dealers because it'd be legal.
Right.
So
they'd come in and they'd buy the marijuana and they'd take it out. They'd buy it cheaply and they'd take it out and sell it elsewhere.
And you know what would eventually happen? And look, those are good points. Don't get me wrong. I'm 1,000,000% in favor of Prop 19. The reason is, yes, all that stuff would happen, and all of a sudden, Nevada would go, oh, forget it. We're going to legalize it too. It's a pain in the ass. Oregon would, Washington would, eventually 38 states would, and finally we go, all right, can we stop this nonsense, idiotic, asinine war on drugs that isn't helping anybody?
I think I'm in favor of it too. I think those are totally valid questions, specifically that drug dealers come into California to get it and take it out. I don't care for that. That's a problem. But I think those are all worth asking, and I flat out do not believe your sentiment about the other states. You're applying logic to, in many states, Republican governors who, in a billion years, and Republican legislators, they're just not going to do it. They're not going to do it. That's going to be the last thing they do.
Except eventually they will, because they're wrong, and there's the incredible weight of evidence is against them, and I can't believe it's taken this long, but there is tremendous movement in the country. Every single poll says, just legalize pot already. For the love of God, do it. Let's go.
Legalize it. So I would say, look, I'm probably going to vote for it too, but it'd be nice if we just did it federally.
Of course, but you want to talk about impossible?
No,
the federal government.
I think that's 50 times more likely than a slow state-by-state process.
Oh, really?
Of
I don't
reason
think so.
coming over Nevada and Arizona. Arizona, inconceivable.
No, it's the same that has happened with so many issues that go state by state, including gay marriage. And at first it'll be Vermont and Iowa, et cetera, and then next thing you know, they can't resist anymore, and they'll go, okay, you win. That's my sense of it. Anna?
Yeah, I'm for the legalization of it. And I don't necessarily agree with the logic behind, okay, if the cost of marijuana is lower, right, that it's going to lead to widespread use. That's like saying, oh, heroin's all of a sudden cheaper? All right, I guess I'll try it. Like, I don't believe in that.
Heroin is dangerous, though. I mean,
okay, any drug. A drug that's not as dangerous as heroin.
Let me tell you
Give me
something.
one.
If marijuana becomes legal and inexpensive, I will smoke it.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
And you know what
Would
will
you
happen
smoke
to
it now, though?
No. Probably not. Like
And cost is a thing that's stopping you from smoking it?
Cost keeps me from doing almost everything. But no, I mean, if you could just go buy it and it's not very expensive. Like, what I'm saying is if it was really expensive, it wouldn't be worth it to me to try.
It's not that expensive. I have no idea. I've never bought pot in my entire life.
I understand.
But I can't imagine that it costs that much.
Maybe the prices won't even go down. I don't even know. This is clearly an argument from the city attorney's office, and it's one that, like Steve Lopez, who supports it, is curious. Like, I think they're valid questions. They might be wrong. It might not drive down the price. It might keep the price the same. It might not do any of these things. But it's a big deal, and there will be consequences that we don't see coming. Maybe they won't be that bad. But in something like this, involving an illicit drug that has been marketed by gangs for a really long time, something we don't see is coming. It's a sea change of significant proportions.
I hear you, and that's all valid, Ben, but that's the same exact argument we could have made about the illicit drug that was banned called alcohol.